Right. Oh, he's got the nice top on. Welcome along to the Offload episode 36. I think we are. It's finals week. Donncha, how are you? Look at you, giddy. For people who can't see him now, he's in the red of Cork. They had a big win last weekend in the hurling. Go on.
I haven't
Rub it
taken
in for those poor Limerick crew.
I haven't taken it off since, Tommy. Yeah, it's like body paint at this point in time. Did you see the match at all? Oh my
I
goodness!
saw the highlights of it. Like, listen, the Munster Hurling Championship is up there with the most epic sporting entertainment worldwide. Like, I mean, the games for people who have never watched hurling, will like switch it on sometimes and be like, what is this? And give me it more.
Do you know what I love though? The barrier to entry isn't all that much. All you've to understand is get the ball over the bar in the net. You know what I mean? Like, and other than that, just leave them at it. You know the way we go into a ruck or a mall and everyone's going, "What's happening?" There, it's just.
Rugby could learn from this. Keep it simple. Run around with a few sticks, batter each other and knock it over the bar from 60 yards. It was an epic win. To be fair, Cork, like Limerick, were going for what, 7 in a row?
7 in a row. What a team,
they
man.
hammered Cork earlier in the season as well. And it looked like Cork's season was over. But my God, to turn it around and to win in penalties. Who sees penalties in hurling?
We've honestly, Rome Munster over the last while, it's been all penalties, hasn't it? With the week before with the Sharks and then the Limerick lads. You know what I mean? You see the outcry about penalties. Is it the right way to finish stuff like that? We were chatting about this before. The thoughts of a replay seem to be fair in the amateur game. Certainly, I understand when it comes to rugby to finish it up that way. But gee, having said that though, there wasn't better TV, man. It was
it's epic, and it gets finished, and the players don't have to deal with the nerves. I have to say, I'm all for penalties. I hate the thought of having to go through another 80 or 90 or 70 minutes replay. It was epic drama. Those poor goalkeepers. Who the hell would be a goalkeeper? Some fella charging at you with a stick. And like, for people who don't know, obviously a lot of Irish people are listening to this, but the hurl, I mean, or the sliotar, like that ball is like cement coming at you at 100 kilometers an hour.
And they love getting in front of it, don't they? It is wild stuff. And
Balls
of course,
of
look, this is what was always good as well, like slagging each other. So within Munster, you'd know the Tip lads, you'd know the lads from Waterford, you know the Clare lads. This is good to kind of rub it in. And you're right, like Cork got hammered, they got a good win down the Gaelic grounds, and it's kind of coming into the kind of championship side. It's kind of 1-1. Could they come across each other again? It would be epic. Imagine it in Croke Park, man.
Well, Cork and Limerick, I think, are right through to the semi-final, so there's some progressions to get through for that. They'll probably face each other in the final. It will be epic. It's such a rivalry. It's great. You did a bit of work with hurling, didn't you? Did you do a bit of work with Waterford? Was it?
I was helping out with when Davey was down there with Waterford.
Davey Fitz,
yeah. I was, and it's wrong to kind of nearly say helping out. I was trying to give a hand in the best way I could in terms of with the kind of preparation, but I'll be honest, the eye-opener was for me, man. I could not believe the commitment levels.
Explain to me.
My goodness, just how those lads are giving so much. Like, you know, the way we have pretty much in the professional environment, so much is of your stresses are taken care of.
Yeah.
It's the opposite there. And then there's the emotional buy-in of it being for the parish, being for where you're from. It's really tough, man. I loved it in terms of being around those lads, unbelievable group, really sound, really embracing, really kind of warm. But probably a barrier for me was not knowing the game inside out. And then, you know what I mean?
It's tough.
You need to know it. And as well, being from there matters as well, you know, especially when it comes to hurling and football. You have to, I feel you have to have that. Now, fellas like Davey King.
Because we come from a professional environment. You've played at the very, very top level. Going into an amateur an amateur group like this, lads who are coming straight from teaching, from full day's work, to have to go and do a full training session that evening. Was it like for you? Were you just listening to them? Were you trying to give them mental skills? Like, well, because I would find it a little bit like you're very good at that stuff. So you're a great listener as well, but I would find it quite daunting in a way.
Yeah, but there was things then though that I you know when you can't change it, You know what I mean? Like in a professional environment, you just go, okay, stop doing that. And you're there, no, I have to go to work, or I have to go to college in UL, and it is a 4-hour round trip every time I come here training. You know what I mean? But then it's trying to find where the wins, you know what I mean? Could you pack a lunch, or how do we make things easier for those lads? You know what I mean? Does the session need to be as long, and different things like that? But yeah, it was kind of a sounding board more so from the lads, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I found them incredible. I couldn't believe the drive, man. I was actually, if you could make that, you know, if you could bottle this love and appreciation for a place. So yeah,
it's amazing. It must have been an amazing time to be there to even just see behind the scenes as well. So that's so cool. Any other crack this week? You've obviously,
no crack.
like, that jersey does you a favour, man. You look a beast in
Look
it.
at this. There we
Look
go.
like big Marcel Coetzee in that.
You see, it's not a jersey, it's a second skin, the old Cork Bowe top. It's all of us going around. Jenny's at the point, will you take that off? It stinks. But no, all's good. I saw you were climbing mountains, Tommy.
I was. Well, and when I say Marcel Coetzee, I should say, for people who are listening to the podcast and you didn't listen to Marcel, we are doing a changing room podcast on a Tuesday night when lads are heading to training, or maybe on a Wednesday morning you can listen to it. Listen to Marcel. It was great to catch up with him. He used to play with me in Ulster as well, and he's a great guy. He's playing in the final against Munster against Leinster tomorrow in Croke Park. For me, yeah, I had a good old week, actually. It's been a busy week, highlighted, I suppose, by doing a mountain climb yesterday, right? So
what are you doing? What are you doing?
I am not fit. That's not my bread and butter now.
No, sorry, you're not fit for purpose for that role. You need to be a donkey, man, and you know what I mean? You're a stallion, to be fair to you. You're like...
Thank you.
You can go, but you're in the wrong parade.
You might not say the same.
You're in the wrong parade ring, fella.
I'd say thoroughbred more. Thoroughbred, not the stallion, maybe.
Thoroughbred's way better for you, yeah.
But yeah, well, I'm not designed for climbing up mountains. But remember, Rory Best did the big walk, like the Miles to Mayo.
Incredible.
So it's for the Cancer Fund for Children. It's to build a new Daisy Lodge, which is an amazing retreat for kids who are going through such a difficult time with cancer, and they're trying to build a new one out in Mayo. And actually, Rory McIlroy, I think, was the person who bought the plot of land out there for this facility. And I think they're going to they're going to start digging it up this July. So it's going to be amazing.
Okay.
And instead of Rory, because he's been a lazy bollocks, he's decided to give the walking a rest, as if walking is that much hard work for him. He's a slow and steady if ever you saw one.
Well, that's I'm not just saying it. I'd back him to walk all day over you.
Totally. Yeah, it wouldn't suit me. But he did the first climb. I think it was up north somewhere. So the thing is that they're trying to do the highest peak in every county in Ireland over something like 6 or 9 days.
Okay.
And there's a bunch, I think there's 20 entrepreneurs, CEOs, business people who are really coming together on this and trying to raise as much money for Cancer Fund for Children. And it's amazing. So I got roped in to turn it up. Chris Henry would have been involved. Decky Fitzpatrick was meant to be doing all the climbs, but of course, a week out, he decided to bust his knee.
Of course. That old chestnut. Good on you, Decky.
Yeah, exactly.
Spot the tight head.
Well done, Deck. Well done.
That's
what 10 years of professional sport does. Pick and choose.
Exactly it. Odd that all the front 5 forwards are pulling out of this event that involves
This is
climbing
like the
mountains.
Dragons away. No one wants to be playing that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So Decky roped a few of us in. So myself, Andrew Trimble, Gordon Darcy, Devon Toner, Chris Henry and Decky Fitz joined the crew, and there must have been about 30 or 40 of us climbed Lugnaquilla this week. Now, I was telling Dars to come along, and he goes, how long is it? So I had no idea. I just thought this was a little hill, Lugnaquilla, Wicklow Mountains. So I said, it'll take us an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Bring your runners, be grand. It's the second highest peak in Ireland.
How long did it take you?
No, that's not quite the Himalayas. Like, but I mean, it's still.
It's second
It was
best.
tougher than we thought. So it was about 4 or 5 hours probably.
No way, man.
And the weather was decent, but it was windy and cold on the way up. And we got up there, we were blessed, beautiful views. But poor old Doris, like, was meant to be going collecting the kids and doing fatherly duties. He turned up in a suit from work. We were giving him T-shirts, and he was there in his runners hiking up it, caked in mud.
Oh, good on him.
But listen, we got to the top, and so far they have raised 1.3 million euro
Amazing.
for this, which is not just insane. And they're hoping to the target was 1 million. If they can raise 1.5. Check it out. It's an amazing cause, and it was nice to do it. And actually, you know what? It just meant we were able to walk up a hill, and I was chatting to Big Dev and chatting to Trimby and catching up with the lads. That's kind of what we love to do now.
Yeah, it's great. A nice way to do it as well. You should have got up on Dev's shoulders to get a photo. Imagine how amazing that would be up there from that vantage point. Or just give it to him. Stick up your arm there.
We were saying this actually today, and you must get this a lot, right? Poor Devin, right? He's 6'11". He's an awful size of a man.
He's very big man.
Unbelievable. Hiking that amount of body up that hill. Like, and then of course there's all these stones at the top of it. You climb up the top, but then there's this like kind of like a podium in the middle. Okay. And a few people were getting up on the podium and standing on it. So everybody's like, oh, get Dev up, people. The highest man in Ireland. And then people are kind of going like, you know, you need to put a light in his head so aircraft don't hit him. And
all the same jokes that he's probably heard.
But you're a big man. You must have heard these jokes many times.
What's the weather like up there? Yeah, all these ones. But Dave is different though, isn't he? Like, I remember playing with him. I would actually have to look up. He is so tall, isn't he? Like, I remember our first time training. Remember, where was it? Where was that place? On the golf course. We used to be out in
Carton House.
Oh, I remember they put in the kind of makeshift gym down the back.
Yeah.
And they had like a chin-up bar. But when Dave hung from the bar, his knees were on the ground for the chin-up. Like, he was, you know the way you leave that little bit of sway at the end?
He's literally on his knees.
Just so good to see it, man. You're there watching.
Remember him? He'd have to go into camp and completely custom-made beds and everything for him for everywhere they went. Like, I think it was Ruth Wood Martin or Jer Carmody had to kind of like, if you were going to an away trip, they were trying to get him a bed and stuff. And were you ever given that sort of, like, you used to get first class on the planes? I remember
there was sometimes,
the big second rows.
I think there was like an over 6'6" rule. If you were in around there, you had a chance. So you'd be spiking the hair of the morning. Yeah.
Are you 6'6"? Are you?
I'd say I'm on the way down now. My kids like that I've got the shrinks. I'll pass Stringer soon.
So it was a great day, and I have to say thank you, lads, for joining us on that, because it was great. Like Trimby's in tech, Chris Henry selling medical parts, Gordon Darcy's doing insurance, Dev is in finance. Like, it's crazy just chatting to them about what they're up to and how it's all going. Yeah, so really good.
And a brilliant thing to do it for as well. Did you see the strawberry moon while you were on your way up? Did you hear that?
No, but it has been actually, I was talking to someone about this morning. Yeah, a lovely picture they showed me of a moon over Kildare.
Yes.
No, I didn't see it.
Every 18 years, the strawberry moon comes around, and they're saying it's different now because of the colouring is different a little bit. I'm getting into nature a little bit, Tommy. You know, not that I'm climbing mountains with you, but...
Do you have a dog?
We've, shadows around the place. Where is he?
The dog gets you into nature. Like, you have to walk it in the woods. You're big. Tell me about this Robin, actually. For people who follow Donncha on social media, these videos are insane. You have a Robin that is entering your house and knows how to leave without battering off the window.
100%. It comes in and out. And I think there's actually two Robins. They're two different ones. It's one kind of a bit like ourselves. One is quite chunky around the hips and arse than the other.
Good for a mountain climb.
Exactly. So this winter, my little girl Robin put up little birdhouse boxes and
your daughter
feeders.
Robin. That's good. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Mad. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
But had you not thought of that? No.
I hadn't thought of that at all.
Robin, get in beside Robin.
So the birds have been fed over the winter, and now I think we're reaping the reward that they kind of trust us a little bit, but they are spending time. There's two of them come in around the house and kind of just basically bob around the place. So I've
How
started.
do they know how to get out the window? The one that's open, the one that's closed.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but maybe it's trial by error. You know, when they can hop off it. I actually.
That's what I'm waiting to see from one of your social media videos.
I haven't captured that yet.
You never get to the end of it, how they actually get out.
But to be fair, because normally we've all had a bird in the house where they can be quite stupid and pop off the wall at the window, can't they? Not this. Honestly, this Robin honestly knows the house better than us. The other morning,
amazing.
man, it was upstairs.
What?
We'd left this window open here and it had gone in around the house. And basically, when we came out onto the landing, waking everyone up for school, there was the Robin kind of going, all right, what's the story? It's bananas.
It's kind of taking the piss now a bit. Like, that's not fun now when it actually comes in when you're out of the house and all.
But do you know people have different beliefs about robins? There's this kind of, like, they symbolise more. People think they're people from a past life keeping an eye on you and stuff. And there's all this kind of, you know what I mean? Everyone's on to me like, that's your dad now keeping an eye on you. And they're, you know, I'm not of that thinking. You know what I mean? That's a robin.
That's a robin. All right. Well, listen, each to their own. But look at you getting all into getting into nature as well.
Yeah,
there
you go. That's
cool.
me keeping an eye out for the strawberry moon. So the next time we're going to see it, Tommy, 2043. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And what else?
I missed it.
Yeah. Another thing is the South Pole on the moon. We found that during the week. They sent the European Space Station headed up there, and they've spotted. No, you're not having any of that.
No. Come on, let's talk rugby. We've had enough. We're 15 minutes in, man.
Sorry, apology.
Right, there you go. South Pole on the moon and it's strawberry. And actually, if you have your iPhone up, it's unbelievable the quality of the pictures it's taken. Right. Do you know what else is amazing that we've seen this week? And I've seen on social media, a lot of people are bumping into the British Irish Lions who were in Dublin for a couple of days. The kind of get together, the first few days of it's back to school, the nerves, the excitement, trying to make friends with people that you don't really know or didn't like on the pitch. But it's cool that they're in Dublin for a couple of days before they've now just jetted off to Portugal. Agreed.
And you know what I must say? I'm loving the visibility. You know what I mean? I know it's probably on social medias, but it's also on like Sky News, different types of channels. We're hearing from loads of them, like Ellis Genge and Finlay Bealham striking up a relationship, being able to see Marrow giving Bill over to Pollock and stuff like that. It is quite exciting. Obviously, you'd be gutted for someone like Xander Fagerson, you know what I mean, to lose out, man.
God, yeah, poor
Jeez,
fella.
We're light on tighthead, aren't we?
Are you saying that because Finlay Bealham's in, or we're just light and tighthead in general?
Yeah, well, like Tig's on the tour as well, but he isn't talking out for Leinster this weekend.
True, actually, yeah. That's a concern. He's somebody that it feels like they'll wrap up in cotton wool just to get him to the test weeks, is it?
Yeah.
Or can you do that?
I don't know. Can you do it on a tour? Because do you know what? A really interesting thing I saw was, do you remember they put up one of the lads' fitness sessions? They were doing stuff on the concept bikes, those kind of horrible measurement training. And Aled was taking it, Aled Waters, and you could hear him giving the, you know what I mean?
Don't leave anything in the tank.
Your best rep ever. Do you remember those sessions, man?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But those are the sort of, I was actually showing it to Lucy. I don't think she quite got it. Like, this is literally balls to the wall, like as hard as you can go. And this is like, it might only be 5-10 minutes, but because you've got, you know, one player from Scotland on your left, another player from, you know, England on your right, you're trying, like you're all against it. There's so many little wins that Andy Farrell and the coaching team are just looking out for. Who in the first rep is not giving it absolutely everything? Who at the end is able to walk off and their legs aren't like jelly? Everything now is being picked up by these coaching team, and it's hard though, because you just feel like you can't get away from it.
But not even that. You score mental wins in your head. Because I go back to when I was lucky enough to go in 2005 and we met in the Vale. And I'll never forget we did a conditioning session. In total, it lasted 17 minutes. I have never been so empty after something in all my life. They spend you. Now, with knowledge and education, you realise it's that type of a season. They have to go for those little bursts as opposed to, they're not going to get anyone fitter, but how can you manage them better within it? But I remember we were walking in to do it. I was walking in with Paul O'Connell, and Lawrence Delalio was coming out against us, and he had his top off, man. He looked like a Greek god. He looked chiseled, man. He, like, you were there, but the big purple head on him, you know, that kind of, that he'd just gone to the well in it. And I remember straight away they pair you up. So I was paired up with Ben Kay, like. So we're going to go at it for the tour, you know what I mean? You're being nice and you're being pleasant, but you're competing, you know what I mean? And
Same.
Every rep, man, matters, doesn't it?
I remember we go to Penny Hill Park, and like we had done quite with the Ospreys that year, 2009. We trained hard. We'd had to do all the hyperbaric, it was the altitude training in tents to try and get us used to playing at altitude. And I thought I'd trained really hard in the lead up to it. And then I remember that first session, walked into this altitude chamber, and you had, I think it was Ugo Mania, Shane Williams, and I can't remember who was the other winger on there for it. But Ugo, you know, he's the loveliest fella, isn't he? Like, he got the nicest man on tour award, right? But he's an absolute unit. He is, right?
Yeah,
and absolutely. It was literally like 4 wingers being put into this chamber with 4 bikes and a stop clock and a watt meter, and we literally were up against each other. And Bobby and Craig White were there, just going, boys, who's going to be playing this first test? Who's going to be playing? Who's going to win? And it's just the competitive juices come out. Like that's pushing people are so competitive, but to the next level. You're falling off that thing.
You absolutely are.
It's amazing when it finishes, but the hurt that you go through.
Hurt.
So
but also
they're going through that at the minute, the week before a match.
Yeah. I used to always find that, you know, these team bonding events, I actually think there's nothing like that, going to the well together, to a dark place with fitness to kind of build a bond, you know, that resilience to kind of get through it. Of course you're competing, but when you come out the other side of it, that and a few pints never does any harm on a tour. Sure, it doesn't.
Yeah. You can see them all high-fiving each other and everything else.
Yeah.
Do you know what else has impressed me as well? That they're all obviously in Dublin for a couple of days and then now off to Portugal. And I'm kind of thinking, like, do they really need to be going to Portugal? But whenever I first went to the Lions, the thing that blew me away with it was the professionalism of all. You turn up to Penny Hill Park, you're in this gorgeous hotel. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. We landed into South Africa with 2 separate buses. It was a step up from international rugby, on the pitch and off the pitch, obviously. But even just in the way you're treated, your bags were collected. It was like, must be what soccer players get.
Yeah, it really is.
I think maybe going to Portugal, staying in the Shelburne, like, it's very lavish. I'd say it's cost them an absolute fortune. But it definitely gives us a sense for the players that this is a step up. This is where you want to be. This is like... You want to earn this.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what as well, Tommy? That's without even getting the whole squad together yet. Imagine when after finals week now, when we start to get everyone in together, and you remember those training sessions, whatever about the conditioning, man, the rugby sessions. Like, I can't put into context. People just have no idea. Like, every level is a step up from club to provincial, then international. But this goes to, like, it's like it comes 3 up as opposed to 1, you know, like, no one's bad.
Yeah. Do you ever remember the clip of Drico doing he like caught the ball, kicked it over the top, caught it with his foot, back into his hand again, and looked like he was faking it one way and then gave it out the back.
Yeah.
Just the skill levels have to just go up to it's like 3 times.
But do you know what happens there as well? And you mentioned them. I found that when it's all cream, then there's a star. You know what I mean? It's where the best pull away, and I always found that with him, man. I remember kind of going to I knew at those sessions, man, I was reaching. You know what I mean? I was playing test match rugby. I was on it. And you were looking at him, and it was effortless. It was like... Big time. He was like, thank God everyone's come up. You know what I mean? Thank God.
Thank everybody's reached my level. I'm going up again. No, he was like, you know, and as you say, those guys were able to just take, and like somebody even like George North, who was just such an animal in that, and just to see him up close, like the size of the legs on him, the drive, the side steps, the abilities, these young lads as well, who I was competing so hard against, but to be able to see the ability they had, and then to try and go like, I'm going to be better than you, man. I
Yeah.
need to try and push myself here.
That's
So
it.
it's everybody's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah,
Really,
it
really
is
exciting.
incredible because I go back over it, but I remember just seeing how Danny Grucock conducted himself. Before I used to kind of think, you know what I mean? The responsibility is on the physios and the kind of doctors to make sure you're okay. He was totally in control of what went on. Like, I remember he was mobilizing, he was doing different types of stretches, he was doing different things with kind of hockey balls. This was all like in 2005, man. And he brought him with him. I was there like, he just, honestly, and then even staying around after kicking, or sorry, when the goal kickers would be kicking, he'd go behind the post and start kind of watching the ball come in for overhead catching for kickoffs. And I remember
Right.
turning to him about it. He was there. If I ask those fuckers to kick me balls, they won't. But I know if I stand here, I can field all day, you know? So it was amazing to see. I have a question. Have you seen Marcus Smith walking around with this? It's like he's bringing a flask around with him. What's the crack with that?
He's Lionel Messi. Do you remember? Do you know where Lionel Messi? It's matcha tea. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? But listen, if it works for Messi and it looks for Suarez, if you ever see Lionel Messi, he'd be playing for Barcelona, he'd turn up to matches and he'd have a flask of tea. And you'd be kind of with this kind of metal straw that sticks out. You're like, what is this fella at? But it's a big thing in Argentina. And yeah, so Marcus Smith is obviously, and it looks like it's one he's got for Christmas. You know, it's like a nice little leather holder and all, doesn't it?
Maybe I've got envy because I don't know what it is and I'm all about it. Look, if it helps him kind of get right for matches.
Yeah.
But you know the way
I was wondering myself.
Yeah, you know the way everyone gives the Irish shit over the Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
I like maybe there was less access from the Irish. There was, definitely. But I'd rather give less access than some of the stuff we saw. Like the opening there with him going off to get the G-Wagon and stuff. You're like, jeez, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the agent chatting about this going to be, you know what I mean, one of these global...
From Rockefeller, Jay-Z's agent.
Oh, jeez, come on, lads. You know what I mean?
And Finn Russell driving in his Rolls Royce.
You know what I mean? We all know you're supping tea in the back of a train.
Well, this is it. Like the rest of the lads are turning up their old, the Lions bags, the backpacks or whatever else, and he's got his little leather. But do you know what? I'm trying not to. They're characters, Donncha.
Yeah,
right? You have
exactly.
to. We're trying to encourage the characters in the game.
I didn't have a problem with Phil Vickery rolling cigarettes in my room, so I shouldn't have a problem with this. Good on you, Marcus Smith. You do what you need to do, fella.
The new level of professionalism, exactly. It's gone from fags to matcha tea.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
The other thing as well is that they've gone from pints to flat whites.
Oh, is that what it is?
That was another thing you see behind the scenes, that they've got like this. It's an old horse trailer with that's obviously full-time flat white maker.
Wow.
And you hear them order, flat white please, mate, flat white. And then it's I think it was James Lowe's like a short Americano. I'm like,
oh, wow, here we go.
Come on.
Here we go.
Where's the double vodka and Coke? Red Bull.
Here we go. We'll catch up.
Those days are gone.
You would be just with Argentina around the corner. I know we'll chat about the finals this week, but 24 are in Portugal training to get set. Do you think that's the team for Argentina is out there, or will you start to drop in lads from finals?
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. This is the big question mark I have around over the next 2 weeks, because obviously you have Leinster against the Bulls in the final this weekend. You have Leicester Tigers against Bath in the final. So there's a number of players who are going to be in that Lions tour that are playing in the finals. So as you said, there's 24. Are they? I wonder, are they all fit?
Yeah.
What do you think? Right, if Andy Farrell gets to that week of Argentina, the squad is announced to go to Australia. If he thinks I'm short another tight head here, but I'm not taking them to Australia, what's your take on him bringing in a few lads to play in that match against Argentina, but not to tour to Australia?
Can he tug out himself? Can we start using the likes of Andy Farrell, John Fogarty and Simon Easterby if we're badly so? You know they do a job for you.
They would, absolutely, yeah. But what's your take on them bringing in a first-time Lion?
Well, I knew I didn't like it when it happened. Remember, what they were called?
Australia, the something 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't like that. You know what I mean? I think it is a massive honour. I played in that 2005 game in the Millennium Stadium, or the Principality, or what are we calling it now? It's Cardiff.
The big stadium in Cardiff.
Yeah. I played in that game in '05, man, and honestly, Tommy, it was a battle. Like, I don't think
Oh
anyone's
yeah.
chatting about it yet. Argentina are going to bring it, man. So, like,
Oh, yeah.
we can't be going in undercut. You need all the right people in the right places. So if that is to broaden it out a little bit, I think you nearly have to do it, because you don't want to get off to a damn squid with the tours. You don't.
So this is a question then for you. Do you bring in and give somebody an opportunity to play for the Lions, have one cap, and their dream is made? Or if you're going to bring people in, do they have to have played for the Lions before?
No, I think what they've done, even in the call-up of, you know what I mean, involving a few over the last while, the likes of Jamie George, they're guys that you could bring in. It's highly likely that he might, with two of the Leinster hookers coming back, that he might,
Yeah.
go on the English tour. But I think that's what we've learned as well. Touring is quite helpful for you at this time of the year, isn't it? To be playing,
Yeah.
and just be a call away. There's no doubt. Look, there's going to be more, isn't there? Hey, I don't have a problem with him needing to do what he has to do in terms of, but
Yeah.
then I'm a
And they
Farrell
need to
fan.
get off to a good start. I mean, imagine the Lions, like a Lion, as you say, Argentina are going to really bring, like they
Oh,
are,
it's gonna be
imagine how much they're licking their lips for
Oh,
this, an opportunity.
Tommy, I played in that game, and it's all about, they weren't getting recognised like the way they should be. And
Yeah.
they've, you know what I mean? All four unions are invested here. We can take a right scalp. With Johnny Wilkinson with a kick to draw that game, and we were never so happy, man. Coming off the pitch, you were like, honestly, just that kind of relief. But one thing I'll say, I loved togging out in that one. I know people might think, get me to Australia or New Zealand. I was
Yeah.
up and running. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I actually
Yeah.
feel, I know lads are preparing for the finals, but I actually think the lads that are in camp at the moment, not only are they building bonds, but you're getting up to speed, and because it does go fast, and you're only counting down the days till you get your first run, isn't it? It's
You want to play your first game. Yeah, I
the
just
first
want to
match.
get one day, 1 minute
Be a line
out
man.
on that pitch with that jersey on.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens after that.
Exactly.
Get me to the game.
Rugby players on line tours are such seesaws, though, because I love selection. Everyone's there. Yes, I'm totally going to buy in. I know it's like, yes, I'll buy in. Just play me in one match, and then watch the wheels fall off. With, like, honestly, unless you have a tight squad, name the test team for test one, and the bitching and whinging that goes on around the place. Right,
Powley out the back with a fag here, having gone, this, like, disgrace, bat.
Yeah, I remember trying to find some of the lads in '05, and they were sent to Queenstown because they knew they'd be on the lash. So the mindset was just get rid of them.
They're better out of the squad.
And they were happy out.
Oh, it's going to be great. I'd say the training that's going on over in Portugal is insane, but
Yeah.
hopefully, like I remember that first time got together, we bust our ass those first few days, and we were meant to be doing a shipbuilding, team bonding thing on the Wednesday. And Tuesday night at about 9 o'clock, that text message, I was room Stephen Jones, text message came in, everybody to be in the team room in 15 minutes by 9:45. And I remember like me and Stephen Jones' phones going, I'm like, oh, what's this all about?
Yeah.
And like, I was like, oh, I've got this bloody team bonding tomorrow. No more want that.
Wasn't that was Geach, wasn't it? Ian
Yeah.
McGeek in 2009. Because I remember that. I think the message said, I'm going for a pint in the bar. Would love to see you there. You know what I mean? See how you're fixed. He kind of left it. Because I remember I kind of went up. I was there, I'm not going to be drinking, so I might as well go up to have to try to climb up his ass. You know what I mean?
I thought it was
Hello,
a
Mr.
test.
McGeechan.
I thought it was a test.
Loads of
I mean,
people
I don't want to be the only one there. Well, Stephen Jones was with me. I was all right. Do you remember your room with?
I think, no, I don't actually at the time for that one.
I know.
Who was
Because you
I
room with so many different people, you're constantly
Over-
switching and changing every
over
place
the
you
course
go.
of it. Yeah. My
But
favorite
when we
roommate-
went in, the bar was lined up with beers.
Yeah.
Like literally there was like 30, 40, 50 pints just lined up on the thing, and we walked in, and the singing and dancing and crack and well,
brilliant.
probably not much dancing, but the messing that was going on,
Messing, it
that
was
just
great.
made the tour for me.
But do you know what?
Absolutely made it.
I think I was in there early because then I saw like people were coming in giving the rubberneck, and like you're right. People thought it was a bit of a trap. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then they'd see maybe you and Stephen Jones having a pint, and they were like, all right, the two lads are in, I'll join. And then all of a sudden, just momentum built, man. It went from this kind of, whoa, we're off. It was great. Good on Geach, boy. What a man.
What a man. What a man. Right. Okay. Well,
Sorry,
let's
can I
talk about
just-
the final.
I know we're going to get to the finals, but you mentioned it, and I just thought of it in my head. When you mentioned roomies, I was lucky enough in that 2005 to room with Michael Owen. Remember, brilliant number
The
8
Welsh
with the
number 8.
Dragons. Yeah,
Yeah.
captain to the Grand Slam, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible fella. But so we roomed together in the Vale in Wales before we left. So to play that match, the Argentina match, which he was captain of. But every night he stayed at home. You know what I mean? He was there, bud, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to pop home, see the family. I was there, not a bother. Geez, go for it. And then we moved to Penny Hill to actually depart. We were 2 days in Penny Hill, and I was rooming when I remember coming in, and all the curtains are pulled. And I was there, Michael, are you all right? I'm just a bit down, really. I was there, what's up with you? Like, and he was there, I am feeling a bit homesick. I was there, like, you've been at home all week, man. We've left Wales for 2 days. We're about to go away for nearly close on 3 months. And you're struggling just going over the bridge, you know?
Exact same. Ospreys player I played with, Ian Evans, Yanto, went on tour 2013. Yanto, we'd literally just landed in Hong Kong. The jet lag, couldn't get over the jet lag, was in a broken place, was like, oh, it just goes to show, mate, you know, 4 countries coming together just doesn't work, does it? Just doesn't work.
In Hong Kong.
The tour hasn't even started yet. He's like, he goes, at the end of the tour, right, or about a couple of weeks later, he goes like, tell you what, if you got offered to get this time back, you'd take it in a heartbeat. We're like, what are you talking about? But he just couldn't. And all of a sudden, as the tour went on, he got a bit more used to being away from home. All of a sudden, by the end of it, he was loving, didn't want to go back to Wales again. But yeah,
Amazing.
so funny. It's just the characters, man. The characters, different opinions. And yeah, it's so good. They'll
And
be
you're
having
right.
a whale of a time.
You really getting to learn and know about them. And then what makes it great, Tommy, you mentioned it there. In like next year's Six Nations, man, when they go against each other again, because the bonds are built up, but you're there like, you think you know me now. You know what I mean? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's it. When you go against somebody you know like that, that's the one you want to get one over.
Yeah.
Right, come on, let's talk finals. Leinster against the Bulls. We actually had Caelan Doris on the show this week. Ireland M. I was so happy to get him in.
Jeez,
what a
Tommy,
guy.
What a guy. What a size, man. Sorry, not being harsh. He's a monster, isn't he?
He's not taller than me. I think I trained with him early doors, but I didn't realise how tall he was. Man, he's an like, listen, first of all, you're just so gutted for him to pick up that injury against Northampton. He just talked about the impact it was. He was trying to give a bit of an offload pass. Somebody landed on the side of him and just popped his shoulder out, said it, look, it was something that like a motorcyclist would happen, you know. It was a nasty old shot. He's out for probably 6 months potentially. And you're just gutted for him. But he just has such a positive attitude about the whole thing. He's really big into his psychology. So he's done a psychology degree in UCD. His parents are psychologists. His brother, I think, is psychology and did into neurodiversity. Then Caelan is doing a post-grad master's in neurodiversity.
Oh,
like,
you know what?
The
he
hell?
Can jog on. He can jog on. You know what I mean? One of the best rugby players we've ever seen play the game. You know what I mean? Good looking fella from Mayo.
Yeah. Girls loving him.
What I mean? And now here he is. You know what I mean? Like splitting atoms and get out of it.
Honestly, amazing. Like,
what a man.
So he's talked about that and talked about how he would get therapy all the time, and he loves to just to use that and talk about the vulnerability that Andy Farrell brings out and actually how open they all are. It was a really fascinating chat, really fascinating guy, and we kind of. Sometimes we give maybe players a hard time that we don't get to hear from them too much. And that's prime example, because somebody like that, people, the more they hear from somebody like a Caelan Doris, to hear this more rounded side to him than just Leinster, just Ireland rugby, talking rugby. Yeah. This guy is a really interesting dude, and I'd love to talk to him again because I just loved it. He was really, really impressive.
It's amazing you say it, but that's what I'm enjoying about the Lions tour at the moment. So I like to listen to something with Ellis Genge on it, and they've got more of an understanding than I normally would. But I've even found it over the last 2 weeks with the RT coverage. They had Joe McCarthy on last week, and they Dan Sheehan on the week before. And you get insight, you know what I mean? Like, I know you'd have to protect and stuff like this, but opening it up a little bit more so we get to see those personalities. I know people are giving Joe a hard time over his comments about, everyone, what was his line? I think everyone
Everybody
likes,
loves to hate Leinster pretty much.
yeah, but you know what I mean? I don't agree
Yeah.
with him, but I was there like, geez, good on him for
Good on him. Yeah,
having a
build
chip.
on that.
And I see it, man. Yeah, and I'm there.
Big time.
Well,
Good on you.
Even the week
We would
before,
love to see that.
Dan Sheehan chatting about, it matters to me to win a URC, man. I was there like, and he's not bullshitting. I'm there like, yes, let us see these lads, It's just, it was,
Loved it. Even saw Geordie Barrett. I mean, Geordie Barrett's been here for 6 months. I feel I haven't heard from him, seen him, don't know anything about him.
No, nothing about him.
Oh, he's up for press, right? Oh, there he is. That's
Keep
what he
it
sounds
going.
like.
Keep it going. It would be great.
So
Sorry.
please, Leinster Rugby, please, Irish Rugby, honestly, from two former players, let these lads get out, give them social media, give them more interviews, because I just think it's going to help the game. It's going to help rugby. It's going to help Irish rugby. It's going to help them long term as well. So
Agreed.
We're not trying to trip them up, I promise. Like, we just want to hear from them.
I wouldn't mind tripping Doris up a little bit. He sounds like he's got it all going on.
Yeah, feck you, Doris. But yeah, it was funny talking to him about Croke Park being from Mayo. And, we must win in Mayo. So, it was really good.
No,
and
he's
of
won
course,
there before.
Marcel Coetzee as well this weekend. Two big games.
Did you get to ask him how's he travelling? I know you never get a massive bit insight, but is he going okay?
Yeah. He's traveled. He's ahead of time. He's targeting New Zealand in the autumn and hoping to get a few games before Leinster before that. But that's the sort of time frame he's got. It was interesting just even asking him, "Will you watch the Lions?" And he kind of was like, "It's hard." Some of my best mates are going to be playing in that, but it'll break his heart to do it. I think just
tough.
go away, go off to Mayo, go on holidays and just switch off, man, and get ready for a big year ahead.
Yeah, he won't be doing that. He'll say
No,
that, and then he's
hard. Can't get away from it.
He's climbing a mountain like you, looking for reception.
What are you thinking about the game this weekend in Croke Park? I think they're going to hit maybe 50,000 people for it. It's going to be a cracker of a match.
Yeah,
first against second in the league. The Bulls have a good enough record against Leinster, have a team very capable of upsetting the odds. I actually can't wait for it. It's going to be a brilliant game, brilliant crescendo to the league.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is 1v2, which is a great way to do it. And when you look at the URC put up this like tale of the tapes, you know what I mean, where they give all their kind of stats between kind of tries and points and carries, and they're so even, man, the whole way down. Like Leinster kind of percentages above on most of it, which you would consider between 1v2. But the big one, Tommy, when it comes to scrum success, Leinster are at 89.4, and there you go, they're the Bulls on kind of 94.7, you know what I mean? And they're like, ooh, there's the game, there's the game.
They're just trying to knock the ball on. Scrum down, yes, please.
They're like the one against Italy that time. Remember we played Italy one time, and they basically tapped the ball off the kickoff not to go 10, so they got a scrum off the kickoff. I was there like, oh,
who's the front row on that one going?
It's going to be a long day.
So, like, if you look at, is it Lowe, their tight head?
Oh, what a player. Marcel Coetzee spoke about him. If you haven't listened to the dressing room on Tuesday now, do go back to just even talk about, like, he went up against the Sharks front row there, all World Cup winners, all Springbok internationals, and he honestly, he bent them up like deck chairs. This guy is destructive. Andrew Porter is, you know what I mean, he's an incredible player, but he's going to be tested this week, it's going to be incredible. And actually, it's all that side, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's even Jack Boyle then coming on for Porter if he comes on. Young lad, Boyle, really good, promising young prop, but he's 23 years of age.
It's the brilliant thing, though. It's the brilliant thing about the URC. Thank God we have the South Africans. I know everyone's bitching and whinging from other competitions, but we should be embracing the fact that, like, you know what I mean? Earn sharpens earn, man. You know what I mean? The more we get around them and just get to go up against them, although we could do with a few of their freak athletes. I think your man's 140 kgs low, isn't he?
He is insane. He's like, I was just looking at the stats there now. Yeah, I mean, even like 30 years of age. Yeah, well, it says here he's 126 kilos, but it's probably a bit on top of that now.
Yeah.
So that was when he was playing for Harlequins.
When he was
But
10.
even like Marcel Coetzee, I think their other back rowers may be injured at the minute, but Valden Staten, Johan Goosen at 10 is a quality player. Willie LaRue at 15. If he comes into the game, you know, really watch out for him. So yeah, it's going to be a cracker. Can't wait. For Leinster though, I just think they have to win. They have to win for the good of Irish rugby, for the good of the Lions, for the good for their own mental health.
I agree.
And I don't want to be putting this extra pressure on them.
No.
But I hope to God they win.
Yeah.
Because I just feel since that loss against Northampton, the wind has just come out of the sails of even the supporters, because on Ireland M there's a couple of nutcase Leinster supporters in there. And you it just doesn't feel like they have the same swagger about them at the minute. And I think, not that I want to see them slaggering, because having that swagger, because it bloody pissed me off the rest of the year. But I just think, I hope they win, because at home in Croke Park, it would be a big occasion for them.
I agree. And I think you've touched into a more important matter. I think it crosses into kind of Irish rugby. You know what I mean? I think people will see flaws across the whole, you know what I mean, Irish mentality and even setup. This is a bigger game than even just Leinster, you know what I mean? But the Bulls know that too, man. Jack White's saying, I'm playing against Ireland, and he's not going to wrong. You know that way. You're like, oh, of all the coaches not to have coaching a team, man, he will get that extra motivational drive for them. So yeah, it should be a great game, and I think we've got the final it deserves. And it'd be great to see Croke Park. I know you're saying 50,000, which is great, because over the last few weeks you were nervous, weren't you?
You were. No, the last couple of games, I think the semi-final was decent enough, but the quarter-final against Scarlets was not good. Leinster are 12.5% are point favourites.
Oh, they'd take that right now,
12-point favourites.
They'll take a 1 point favourite. But then, Tommy, what do you do this week if you're Leinster? You know what I mean? Do you play, man, or do you by any means, like, it's a dangerous team to get into an arm wrestle with, isn't it? If you play a kind of cup final rugby. But like the moment, I feel bad saying it, but where Jack Conan's looking to the touchline, like, it's 3 points all day long now, isn't it?
They'll have played this over. They won't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Surely they've done scenario training all week.
Yeah.
What happens? 2 minutes to go, we're down by 5 points. What happens? We're 30 seconds to go, we need 1 point.
Yeah.
These are the sort of things, because they've done all the training. They don't need to be going running reps and reps. They know exactly what they're doing. It's all scenarios now. And as you say, take the points when they're on offer. So, cracker of a game. Really look forward to it. It's going to be a good one.
Do you know what we were chatting about, how rugby needs to evolve, and you were mentioning the talks of the new breakaway league or 360 or whatever it was.
360, cracker name.
Yeah, but this weekend got banged it home for me a little bit. So you've the URC final with the Bulls and Leinster, and then you've the Prem final with Leicester and Bath, and then I was looking kind of Super Rugby or whatever it's called now. It is like Crusaders versus the Blues and the Chiefs versus ACT.
Ooh.
If you keep going here a little bit, then the top 14 is getting to the pointy end with Bayonne versus Clermont and Toulon versus Castres, while Toulouse and Bordeaux rest up for the... Less rugby is a good thing, man, isn't it? Like less...
high quality. This is why this league might work, Donncha, because less rugby but more high quality matches.
But every one of those games you'd be interested in.
Oh, I could watch those. I could watch those sit back to back.
Back to back.
Hook it up.
But
I wish I could sit and watch those back to back.
Maybe this is our problem, though. Maybe, like, instead of whatever about that league, maybe we actually have to address the fact that there's simply too much rugby. Like, there genuinely is. The fact that we're playing into June, for me, it was always kind of wrapped up. May was when the pitches is getting hard, man, we need to get off it. Leave it for the hurlers.
I'm the opposite. I want to go when it gets soggy. But you're like... The seasons are so long. Like, if you think of how banged up a lot of these players are, now they're going to have to go off and play a 6-week Lions tour. It's going to be so difficult. I was actually talking to Brian Abana last week. He was saying how those South African players who've been playing URC all week, the Springboks, they're going to now have to join up with the Springbok squad and go through a whole rugby championship, and it doesn't pretty much end until November.
Yeah.
I think they play something like 10 or 15 matches back to back. So
you're
how
right.
their season never ends.
Now that you're name dropping with your friend Brian Habana, I was on to my mate Charlie Flannery, who's in there, but he was saying that exactly. They play the Babas, and then they have 15 games in total, including that Babas game. Like 15 caps for your country. It is. But then again, Tommy, we were chatting about it. What's the enjoyable thing to watch at the moment? The international stuff is great, isn't it?
Well, the international game is working.
Yeah.
15 games back to back is tough going. Something Brian Habana did say on that speech that, and we'll hopefully get him on the pod soon as well, was that when I was speaking to him, they have to shore up Northern and Southern Hemisphere leagues. Have them all starting at the same time and finishing at the same time.
Oh, hold on.
Because
the calendar is what you're saying there.
The calendar. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, have this rugby championship when the Six Nations is on.
Yeah.
Have the URC start at the same time as Super Rugby. Like, how is the game going to progress whenever those South African teams that are playing for the Bulls this weekend are going to join into South African camp and have to have 15 internationals in a row? It's ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, that's right. Something we can discuss for another day.
Isn't it nuts that, you know what I mean? We all go looking at different breakout leagues, and then someone goes, okay, what's the story with your calendar? And you're there, well, we do this and they do that. And you're like, could you imagine if they went into the Formula One or any of the NBA? Okay, tell us about your sport. Well, we like to operate at this time of the year, and then they go.
And then those boys do that one. Like, do you mean?
And then we play them in the autumn when we're really fresh and they're knackered. Nuts. Bananas.
Finally, just English Premiership. How do you think see Leicester against Bath going?
Yeah, I think, look, Bath have been the dominant force in that league, but man, you have to credit, and we know it from his time in Ireland, what he did with Leinster, Michael Cheika, man, to come in and to get such a bunks out of a team. And that is going to be an incredible game of rugby, I think. But I just think, a bit like Leinster, I think the squad is too strong to kind of get caught up. And maybe in around that 60 minutes, when you unload benches and you bring on the calibre they have, I see Bath coming out on top. What about you?
Yeah, I think Bath. Listen, given the rugby that they've played this year, I think they were 13 or 14 points ahead in the league. It would be a shame to see them miss out on it.
Yeah.
And for the likes of Finn Russell, whatever else, to bounce on into the Lions tour from that, I think fair play to them.
Yeah.
There's another big rugby match this weekend I want to give a shout out, because there is obviously the Lions in Dublin next weekend. I'm involved in I'm not really involved, I'm just turning up to watch it, but there's a huge game going on in Mullingar Rugby Club on Wednesday the 18th and Thursday the 19th. So it's the Wooden Spoon Rugby Charity and Loose Heads Mental Health Charity. They're going to try and break the Guinness World Record to have the longest ever game of rugby. And it's going to be in Mullingar.
Who's reffing? Wayne Barnes?
I'm going to be reffing, right? So they're going to be... so they're trying to raise 100 grand between the two of them as well.
Wow.
Gavin Hastings is going to be there. Ian Evans, myself. We'll hopefully get a few more other people as well. But if you're close to Mullingar Rugby Club, do check it out, because it's going to be a great event.
Are you're going to play for how long? 24 hours?
No, I can't play. I can't play, but I'm going to turn up.
Hold on, you can climb a mountain 10 minutes ago to go on the lash with the lads.
Well, it's actually the same 23 have to play for the full length over like 24 hours.
24 hours.
So actually, I can't just drop in and play for 5 minutes, drop out again. It's the same two teams playing non-stop, to break the record.
and they're rugby players.
Yeah. Well, they're going for it.
Are they going to stop it? It's going to be like cricket, that you stop for lunch and tea and dinner.
Can you imagine? Like, you saw the state of the Munster players at the end of extra time against the Sharks. Like, that was after 90 minutes. Like, how wrecked are these ones going to be?
Brilliant. But, two good organisations.
Yeah,
if people can get involved, that would be super.
Lions starts next week, Donncha. I can't wait. Finals this weekend.
My goodness.
The rugby's starting to really heat up in there. Fair play, man. Loving it.
Looking forward to it, Tommy. It's going to be a great weekend of it. And then you're right, man. We're right down the barrel of it. Argentina and the Lions roaring off to South Africa. I can't wait.
Listen, thanks so much again for listening to episode 36 of The Offload. Check out the changing room on a Tuesday afternoon. We had Marcel Coetzee last week. We reran an old interview with Joe Schmidt last week, and next week we are going to be, I'm going to talk about it now, we're going to be talking to the CEO of the Lions. Ben Calvary is going to be joining us on that as well, just to get a bit of an insight to what actually it means to try and put together a Lions tour, the logistics of it, the business of it, and how important it is that the Lions get a win. So I'm really, really interested to see as Lions come into town. We're going to be talking to Ben and getting a great insight.
Are we wearing suits for that? Should we dress up?
You wear the suit, I wear the tracksuit.
He is a CEO, man. You know what
I wonder what he's going to wear. He's a sharp-looking dude, actually.
Oh, is he? Well, then we're definitely dressing up.
Yeah. Okay. So do check us out. That's the locker room on a Tuesday.
Man, it's the dressing room. You've called it everything bar its name. What is the story with you, man? You've called it the locker room, the changing room. It's the dressing room, man. Come into the dressing room. Just think of Tuesday night with your local club. Where do you go? The dressing room.
Well, listen, at least I've got the overlap right. So there we have it.
That took 6 weeks.
It's not the overlap. The Offload. Check us out. Subscribe. Tell a few mates, because the next couple of weeks with Lions content is going to be huge. We're going to really push it. And we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you want to hear more of. And we'll catch you soon. Donncha, have a great weekend.
Good on you, Tommy. Mind yourself.